Hi guys, Kev here, and I have something to unbox for you. So this is from Cyelee Optics. This is their Chameleon G for green SRS8. And this is the Stig-RS system. So it's for astigmatism, which I have. So I really enjoyed the Wolf SRS8, which was their astigmatism dot for that RMR size, the Wolf size. Sorry, it's not RMR size. It's like what is it, like Holosun 507 or Comp or the Olight C, something like that. Olight X, that kind of size. A little bit smaller than those, but not as small as an RMR. It's RMR footprint. This is their Trijicon SRO size dot. I mean, it's very similar to an SRO if you look at it, right? To the point where it's kind of a copy of a SRO. So I wanted to try it because it's going to have a bigger window, obviously. And it was the only one they had with the Stig-RS system in green. So I thought it would be a good idea to test that. And what I'm going to do is we're going to talk about this, go over the features of it. Then I'm going to install it on my Echelon. We'll swap out the Olight C that's on there now, which is another great option. And then in another video, I'm going to go to the range and I'm going to test this dot, but I'm also going to compare it to the actual Trijicon SRO on my Staccato, and then I'll compare it to the Wolf Stig-RS system, because I want to see if the red versus green is, makes some kind of difference. I really liked the Wolf Pro with the SRS8 or with the Stig-RS system, so I'm really interested to see how they compare, because the red was fantastic, but this is an 8 MOA dot, which is rather large. I really wish they would tone down the size of these dots. Olight is doing it now too, where the newer ones are like higher, they're larger. I don't know if they're doing that because they think that's what people want, or it somehow helped. Like, is it cheaper to do a larger dot? Is anybody an expert on that? I don't know how or why it would be cheaper to do a larger one. I figure it would be actually more expensive to do a larger one, but maybe there's something I don't know. But I personally don't like the larger dots because I have an astigmatism, and when you look at when I look at the SRO, for example, is a 2.5 MOA dot, at least mine is. When I look at that, because of my astigmatism, it kind of starbursts the dot, and it basically is the size of like a 6 MOA dot, right? So imagine now you take a 6 MOA dot or an 8 MOA dot, and you have that starburst, you're going to get what looks massive. And that, to me, doesn't make sense. Now, this is supposed to mitigate the astigmatism, so we'll see how that goes. Just to show you the differences here, I might have the boxes. Is this the Wolf? Yeah, this is the Wolf SRS6. Sorry, SRS6. So this is a 6 MOA dot. Which I really like this one because it didn't have that crazy starburst. The way I explained it was I could see the dot really clearly, and there was some starbursting, but the starbursting was like dimmed down. It's hard to explain, but like it was there. It just, if the dot was at full brightness in the sun, the starbursting was at like a medium or a low brightness, so it didn't really bother me. It was almost imperceptible when I was shooting. It was basically imperceptible. But when I was staring at it, trying to gauge it, I could see it, but it was just dimmer. It's very interesting. So it was basically a 6 MOA dot for me as someone with astigmatism. Now we'll see if the green is the same way, if the 8 MOA is the same way. This is the one I would recommend to you if you're going to have like a range gun that's also a carry gun or home defense gun or something, I would get this one because you still get a larger window than like a RMSC size. But it's gonna be as durable as one of those, like the Cat or whatever. It's gonna be as durable, where this one, the SRO, is like notoriously not reliable. It's for competition. So people drop it, they break it easily, that kind of thing. So I assume this would be similar because of the shape of the housing and everything. Now they might have a better, glass or whatever that makes this one more durable, but just basing off of, the SRO, this one makes more sense to me. I would see this one for range, competition, stuff like that. They list it on their website as it's made for carry, but I wouldn't really go that route, I don't think. I'd go with the Wolf. But either one is great. I also have the Cat EDG. That's fantastic. That's the enclosed Cat that they have. Really, really nice if you need an RMSC footprint. So we got the full spectrum here, right? RMSC, micro gun type red dot, and then you have the Wolf, which is your kind of standard full-size gun, pistol dot, and then you have your kind of competition size dot. And these are all available on their website. If you go to CyeleeOptics.com, you can use my code LeftyEDC. That'll save you 10% on your order. As long as you don't get one of their like ultra budget models, it will work on anything, which is cool. So yeah, definitely check out the options. The EDG is like ultra tough, and I think they have a Wolf EDG, so it's just a larger version, if that's what you're looking for. That's the one I'd recommend for something that you're going to have for like home defense or carry or whatever. You want the toughest thing you can get. So from Cyelee, I would definitely recommend the EDG for that. But let's open this up, since it's probably been like 7 minutes and we haven't even looked at it. Sorry. But I will do a range video where I shoot it and show it to you in action. So for those of you who want that, you can just stay tuned for that. I'm sure there might be some different settings on this that are not on the Cat or the Wolf, so I'll have to check through this, but it looks like they have a lock mode, which is cool. Shake awake, it's after 5 minutes, it'll go to sleep, and then any movement will turn it back on, which is awesome. It has 10 illumination modes, 8 daytime and 2 night vision. So it's basically just like the Wolf and the Cat EDG that I reviewed in the past, where it's probably going to be the same thing where I want like one more notch of brightness, but it's fine. It works. And yeah, there is a lock mode, so that's kind of cool. I think all dots should have a lock mode. And then to turn it on, obviously, you just hit the plus button. I wonder if the minus button will work too. We'll check. But to turn it off, you hold the minus button for 3 seconds. So it's not like some other ones, SRO, Hollow Sun, where you just push both buttons at the same time. On this one, you hold the minus button for 3 seconds or whatever. They always give you this awesome card explaining how to zero it and what happens when you turn the dial. I appreciate that because I always mix it up, like what happens when you do this. You're basically, look at it this way, you're moving your bullet hole to the dot. Okay, so if you're aiming dead center and you hit low, you're gonna want to turn it to go up. Okay, and that's gonna move the bullet hole up to the dot versus wanting to turn it down to move the dot to the bullet hole. Does that make sense? My brain mixes those up all the time, but you're moving the bullet to the dot. That's what you want to remember. And that'll make it easier for you to remember. And then they give you a little thing on different zeros, and you can kind of see what makes the most sense. Well, if you look at this card, what makes the most sense? A 25-yard zero, because a 5-yard, a 10-yard, and a 25-yard zero all fit in that 9-ring, right? Or 10-ring, whatever it is. Where if you have a 10-yard zero, yeah, your 10-yard are dead on, but your 5 yards are outside of that 8-ring or 9-ring, and your 25 yards are outside of it. Same with the 5-yard zero, it's even worse. So like, why wouldn't you just do a 25-yard zero, in my opinion? Get a little patch, and here's the dot. So if you guys haven't figured it out by now, this channel is for people who want a more in-depth conversation, rambling from me, and, you know, just that kind of stuff versus quick and dirty to the point. That's just not my style. I can't do that. My brain won't let me, but here it is. And like I said, it looks just like a SRO. I will grab my staccato real quick to show you. I'll do a better comparison when I do that range video with it, but I just want to show you because I'm sure it'd be nice to see up close like this. So here is the SRO from Trijicon. Here is the Cyelee Chameleon. So, I mean, they're not identical. You can see it sticks out a little bit more here. The button housing is a little bit different, bigger button. The base is longer, like this piece right here to here is a lot longer than on the SRO. I like the SRO a lot. I feel like they need a V2 of it. It's been forever. They need shake awake on it. I mean, there's a lot of things that I feel like it should have that it doesn't. I've already killed a battery just accidentally leaving it on. Even though I usually turn my dots off after I use them, I forgot one time where I hit the button in transit or whatever, and then the dot, it just dies. So now I put it on the lowest setting when I turn it off, just in case it turns on. So if you look at this dot, this is a 2.5 MOA dot. And it's really hard to see that because it's not focusing, so it looks bigger. That's not how big the dot looks in real life. Well, to me it kind of does. Because I have that astigmatism, it looks huge. So that 2.5 MOA dot is basically the size you're looking at it right there for me. Except it's like jagged and like starbursting all over the place. It doesn't look like a perfect circle like this. Now this one is 8 MOA, which is the biggest dot I've ever had, you know, on the channel or in general. And you can see without it being focused, same thing here. It's massive. So 2.5 on the right, 8 on the left. Doesn't look wildly different on camera without focus. I'm trying to look at them both myself right now. One looks like a little dot and one looks huge. Yeah. So I can tell you right off the bat, I don't love 8 MOA. Here's a look at the front. Let me just do one thing. Turn this off so I don't forget. You just got to hold both buttons for a little bit. Sorry, pinched myself. So I just want to show you, this is clear, nothing in there, nothing in there. Got that beautiful 2.25 pound trigger that I tuned up. I love this thing, and the SRO is literally the perfect dot for it. I mean, look at it. To me, it's a perfect fit. But what I was going to show you is the front, and so I have to point the gun towards the camera, and I just didn't want anybody to freak out. So this is the front. I mean, you can see how similar it is. You can see this kind of connection up here. I guess that's maybe where they welded 2 pieces of aluminum together. I'm not sure. This one is, they should both be made out of 7075 T6 aluminum. Just wanted to give you all the angles. The top. So this one's got Trijicon and all that stuff going on, a line right down the center. I guess you could use it as kind of a sight if you really needed to. You'd have a rough, you know, I don't know. Does this one have backup? Nope, no backup irons on either, unless you count that, but I don't know. It is top loading, so I'm going to go ahead and put away the SRO here in a second. You can see the difference. The SRO comes with a plastic tool to undo that giant Phillips looking thing. It's more like a cross, but, and then this is I think a T10. We'll confirm that shortly. So let me put this away. Okay, so I can check that real quick. I have a T10 in here. That's usually the size for these. Yeah, looks like a T, well, a little bit of room there. Let me try a 15 just to be safe. You got to be careful when you're messing with this tray. No, that doesn't fit. That's a 15. Yeah. So T10 on that. See how easy it is to get to. You just got to be careful. You're gonna mark up the aluminum here if you get too close to it. If you're using fix-it sticks like me. Yep, very easy to undo that. Just I might as well show you because some people are going to be curious. You can feel the aluminum rubbing, but that's not me rubbing on the top of the frame. That's the screw rubbing, because it's just aluminum threads. They did Loctite it, looks like. It was pretty easy to undo. It has a little rubber thing there to seal it, which is nice. You have a 1632 battery in there. Still functioning right now, but it's good that they did it this way. They didn't do a, you know, they didn't put the battery below. So let's see how easy it is to put it back on. I honestly hate doing this on the SRO. That tool they give you is super annoying to use. And let me switch this. There you go. I'd much rather a T whatever, just like this. This is seating in perfectly. And just get it snug. Don't think I need to go crazy. So we're nice and snug. I could feel that rubber gasket kind of smushing down there. Oh, no, there it is. It's still there. So that is how you would swap the battery. Very simple. For adjustments, you have a little flathead here and here. They're huge, so you could definitely fit a like a 9mm rim in there to use if you're at the range, which is always nice. But it does come with a tool. Usually comes with a tool that has, oh yeah, so they don't give you like a cool key thing. They give you 2 Allen keys. Wrenches, sorry. One has flatheads and one has torques. So just to show you, we're gonna have the T10 on this one. So that will fit in here. You could also use this on the screws for mounting if you want to, but I don't recommend. I think you 100% should use a torque wrench when you're installing stuff like this, so you get that measurement right. This one has a small flathead and a larger flathead. I'm guessing that's because they send the same one with all their dots. And you can see this flathead fits in there, but it's pretty loose in there. So again, you might want to just have your own tool to use, like the fix-it sticks. I have a link in the description of every video. Down at the bottom of my description, there's the Disassembly Tools. I also added the fix-it stick set, and that'll get you to the fix-it sticks on Amazon. Then from there, you can, if you want to look at different kits or whatever, I just linked the one I have. I think it's the best one to get because it has everything you need. Doesn't really have anything over the top that you don't need, right? And it's the more affordable torque version. They have versions where you get a bunch of different torque adapters. And then there's this one that can do multiple. So it just shows you when you reach the torque you want. It's not a limiter where it'll stop or like make a, like, it won't vibrate or anything when you get to the setting you want. If you need that, then you might want to check out the limiter. I think that's what the other ones do. But this makes the most sense for me because I can just, you know, I can do multiple things without having to swap constantly. This one goes 0 to 65, which is all you need when you're talking about inch-pounds. You also want a foot-pound torque wrench if you're going to be putting together like ARs, you know, installing muzzle devices, stuff like that. Which, you know, you might be if you're doing this. So let's go ahead and install this. I will give you just a couple more specs that they provide on the site. It's $200, which I think is pretty good. It's actually more affordable than their Wolf Pro SRS8 and the Cat EDG. So I don't know if this is a lower quality compared to those. It's still going to be, you know, 7075 T6 aluminum. It is a little bit more, I don't know how to explain it. It's less refined. Like it, I don't know, maybe it's just aesthetically, it just kind of looks like, a, you know, just like a block and then a circle on top. It sounds stupid, but it, I don't know. It's just simpler, I guess, and maybe that's why it's more affordable too, or it's an older design. I don't know, but it's $200 versus like $250 on some of them. And again, you can use that Lefty10 code, so that would save you $20, and it would be $180. It's a pretty good price for what is essentially a SRO style dot, obviously made in China and all that. 8 MOA. It comes in red and green. They're both $199, I believe. Has the Stig-RS system. I will say, for me, so far, I have not taken this to the range, obviously. Unlike the Wolf Pro SRS8, I do get starbursting with this. It looks like when I'm like looking out the window right now. But it is better. It's kind of doing the same thing where the starbursting is a little dimmer. I think I need to see it in more like sunlight. But maybe I just don't see the green as good as the red, which is interesting because most people see green better. And I thought I did too, but with this system, I think the red works better for me personally. And I think that's just going to be case by case. RMR footprint, shake awake, up to 50,000 hours, battery life. I wouldn't trust that. Just change your battery every year. IPX7 waterproof, which is good. Top mounted battery. Here's the window size. You can pause and read that. 26.5 by 22.5 millimeter or 1.04 inches by 0.89. It's a good sized window. Parallax free, and then it has the 10 settings. And this is where it tells you it's really good for concealed carry, but I don't think that makes sense. So, what do we have in here? T15 again. Okay. Put that away. We're just going to need the T10, I'm pretty sure. And I usually, when I'm dealing with dots, I will put the torque tool right in there, and then I'll put the longer stem at the bottom. And the reason I do that with when I'm installing red dots is that way this guy, this chunky guy, doesn't get in the way. Like if I tried to unscrew this cap with that on, I wouldn't even be able to do it because it would be smacking into the top here. And the same thing kind of happens when I'm trying to do these screws. Now this one has a longer base, so it might have been fine, but let me turn this off for the time being. Just confirm. So you just hold down this minus button. Just for reference, they're nice and clicky. They're actually really nice. if you hold the plus button, still holding. Okay, nothing has happened. So let's see. Okay, that did nothing. The holding the plus button. I thought we were gonna get a lock or something, remember? Lock mode, press and hold both buttons for 4 seconds, okay? To deactivate, you do the same thing. So lock mode basically is this. You'll see the dot is in this setting right now. Let's just go all the way full brightness. Okay, then we'll hold both. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so it blinked once. Now, buttons don't do anything. Does the power button work? Yes, the power button still works. Interesting. So we're back on. Did that disable the lock? Yes, it did. So we just bypassed the lock. But normally, 1, 2, 3. So unless something happens where it gets bumped and the minus button gets held for whatever that was, 4 seconds, I think that's fine. I get it. They want to make sure you can turn the thing off if you forget how to unlock it, I guess. But so now it's locked. You can't change the setting, basically. So to turn that off, I would just turn the unit off, honestly. Seems easier, but hold both. 2, 3. Blinks twice like that, and now I can change the setting, okay? So we have that mode. I think that's it. It has shake awake, and you can plus and minus. Yeah, that's all it does. So the SRO is very similar, I think, but the SRO does not have shake awake, which really kills it for me, honestly. That's my biggest gripe with it. Just wish it had shake awake. I don't know why they haven't come out with a version yet with it. So this is the pistol I'm going to put it on. This is my Springfield Echelon 4.5-inch comp. And at this point, I mean, it's still a Springfield Echelon slide, but that's pretty much it. I have this beautiful Sharps Bros aluminum grip on it. I have VZ grips, operator grips in here, which are fantastic. The combination just locks you in without any uncomfortability. It's like smooth in a way, except here, obviously, but yet rock solid in my hand. The ergonomics of this grip module are incredible. I have the Tyrant CNC trigger installed. I have the Powder River spring kit installed. The trigger doesn't change the pull. The spring kit got me down half a pound. So I think I'm at like 4 pounds, or yeah, I think it's 4 pounds now. It was at like 4.5 or something like that. So it didn't do much, but it does feel good. This is a Agency Arms extension. I got like every extension I could find to test out. This one's really nice. I have another one in here from some other company. I forget the name of it. Maybe the Patriot CNC, I think. And the list goes on. I might show you those at some point. But again, this gun is clear. Nothing in there. Really smooth. 12-pound recoil spring in there, I believe. I did just install the Tyrant CNC extended slide release. These actually just came out, so if they're still in stock, check them out. Such a nice upgrade. The stock ones are super low and hard to actuate. They're just very low profile. And I like that they raised them up, so now they're up here and they're not easy for me to bump, although, because I have that problem on my Shadow Systems where the extended one that Tyrant CNC has is down here, and it, I think, bumps my index finger or something. This one I'm a little worried I'm gonna bump it over here with my thumb, but we'll see when I'm shooting if I'm touching it. Maybe I could just ride it so I don't accidentally lock it up, but we'll see all that stuff. Yeah, I love this thing. But I have the O-Sight C on it. Another great, affordable red dot manufacturers. This is the C. Definitely check those out. This is another one where I just wish they would go to smaller dots. I think they have a, well, this one doesn't look bad actually. I thought it was like 6 MOA on this one, but see if I show you. Yeah, you can't see anything because of the focus. Let me turn that on. You can't tell, but I marred up the finish on this housing, and then I just Sharpied in those areas. See right there and there. I just Sharpie it in so that I don't see the, there you go, you can see the raw aluminum color, just so it doesn't distract me. I don't care about the marks really, but yeah, the gun is fantastic, and the dot also fantastic. Really like it. If you guys are looking for O-Sights, you can check them out. I'll put a link down below as well. I have a code for them, LeftyEDC. That'll save you, I think, 20% from O-Sight, which is, I mean, you combine the discount with their pricing, and you're saving a ton on their stuff. So definitely check them out. Them and Cyelee, I think, are making the best affordable dots right now. So I'm really enjoying checking them out and comparing them to the expensive ones that I have as well. But yeah, so I'm going to remove this because I did a video on this already. So I don't think we need to compare it. Maybe I'll throw this on my Archon and bring that instead of the Swamp Fox. Maybe let me know in the comments if I can. I'll do what you guys suggest, but I could put the O-Sight C on my Archon and bring that to compare to the Chameleon and the SRO. And I'll also have the Wolf there, Wolf Pro SRS8. So I could compare all those and this one, O-Sight C, or the Swamp Fox Liberty 2 that I have. So let me know if one of those floats your boat. So we just need to remove this. I got my T10. And again, you can see why I put the torque thing at the top there and not at the bottom. So it should be pretty easy to remove. Shouldn't need, if you torqued it right and you used blue Loctite like you should not need heat to break the Loctite. You shouldn't be destroying the screws or anything. The torque is good because it lets you remove it easily, but it stays in place, Let me just shake that out. Oh, just lost a screw. Oh, God damn it. Dude, how many times am I going to forget about these little freaking things that are in there? It's unbelievable. Give me a second to find them all. Okay, so I always forget about the Springfield pin system for their dots. This is why I keep a magnet pen like this at my desk. So it took me 2 seconds to find these, but I think there's just the two that are down at the bottom here. And then I think the dot just sits in there. This one will lock in closer to the back, but it doesn't have anything in the back that locks it in. I mean, you can see, I guess the screws are in the back, but you can see there's no notch or anything back here that you could lock into. So there's only the 2 pins. Yeah. All right. So I'm going to get rid of these screws. I just wanted to clean up the dim holes a little bit. So what I do is I take alcohol. Let me actually take down the slide, do a field strip here, just put down the takedown lever, disengage slide lock, and slide her off the front. No need to pull the trigger. And then I will pop out our recoil spring. I am going to be testing the DPM Systems kit for this. All right, sorry. My wife needed me. There was a wasp in the kitchen. What was I saying? Oh, I'm going to be testing the DPM Systems recoil reduction kit for the Echelon. They're sending me that, so we'll see. I always will take a cloth, and I need to clean the, see if this is a good size. Clean the threads out because they're covered in that blue Loctite. Need something smaller. Just need a T6. Here. T6. Yeah, see all that? Definitely want to clean that out. You're probably not going to get it all out. You're going to have some blue Loctite in there, honestly. Not the end of the world because it might actually help. I mean, obviously clean threads are the best option. But if you can't, let me just put a little pressure. I don't want to break or screw anything up, but I can get it out, I think. The main objective is to get out any oil or, basically oil, because that is the #1 enemy to Loctite. Even though I use Vibratite 121 or 122, the oil tolerant kind, you want to be extra careful. You can see there's like shit on here. I really would like to get that off, to be honest. So I'm gonna try. This might be annoying for some of you, but some of you who want to know how to install these properly might be helpful. Can I get that off? I'm gonna grab a little bit of acetone. So I always keep some acetone around, and I will try not to do what I just did. Poured it onto my hand. I just don't like the feeling, and not sure how good it is to have that on you. So let's see if that helps us get rid of this. Acetone's really helpful getting glue off, so I'm just thinking maybe it'll help here too. A little bit. Probably overkill, but you know, I just like to be thorough. Make sure that lid's on tight. Okay. What was I going to say? Something you need to be mindful of is that the extractor, spring is right down there. I don't know if you can see it in there. Zoom in. See the spring down in there? That's the extractor spring. So you do not want a super long screw, because if you go down in there, you're gonna mess up your ejector. I did that when I installed the first dot on this, I believe, and I had to figure out what the hell was going on. I thought something was messed up back here, and then I realized it was a screw literally pinching the spring. So be mindful of that. All right, so these go into the tabs. One of these is left, one of these is right. I just need to, I guess it doesn't, I guess I'm gonna figure it out. Depending. So this is this one? Maybe they're not labeled. Some of them are labeled, some of them aren't. That doesn't matter. They're the same. Seems like. pop that in. Yeah, we should be good. All right, so then drop this on, sit like that. See, it overhangs. Should be fine. I mean, I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. Should be fine, but it does overhang. Now I could probably just reuse these screws. I'm gonna see if they fit, because that would honestly maybe make my life easier with the whole trying not to mess up the extractor spring thing. So let's see if these fit. Depends on the way that they go in. Does not look like they will fit. I need a longer screw. That does help a little bit, because I can try to find a longer screw. Cyelee gives you all the screws in these bags. One thing I appreciate about how Osite does it is they give you this like kit. It's like a plastic kit. Check out my videos on Osites to see that. I like that much better. It's not like a deal breaker or anything. Just something I noticed that's different. So I probably want one of these kind of screws that has like the threads and then has this area up here without threads. So these are gonna be like, you can see which ones are too short. Let me zoom in a little for you. Not zoom out. There we go. Too short. These might work. These might work. What are they? 440s though? I think I need M3s. 640. Well, I guess we're gonna find out. These might be good because they're longer but not quite as long. These are 12.7. These are 12, so a little bit shorter. These are 11. M3s. Those might be the ticket. These are also longer. These are 9.5, 632s. We got a lot of nice long ones here. That's what she said. These don't have any of that gap. It just has threads, but I'm gonna try the other ones first, but those might work. We got a lot that might work, honestly. A lot of these are longer. So let me just start with a random set. They always give you 3 in a pack. I like that. So you have 1 extra. It's kind of nice. So let's see. I don't know if this is gonna work because I don't know, it'll fit in there. And we get about that much screw sticking out. Should not be enough to contact the extractor. It might be close, but we're gonna see. Does not feel like the right threads to me. Very tight, very quickly. So I'm gonna try something shorter than that too. I mean, I want it to have a decent amount of threads, but not too many. What was that one in length? 9.5. So let me try to find something. 11, so I went shorter, not longer. This might be the guy. 8.8. Let's try these. And these are 632 by 0.346. I don't know. Sometimes I don't even pay attention to that because there's so many that fit when you don't think they would or whatever. That's a decent amount sticking out. That's like perfect, honestly. So let me get locked in on the tab. Okay, let's start with that. Okay, now we're locked in there. Drop one in, see how this feels. Okay, this feels right. It's like, it's loose threading at first. That's how it should feel, I feel like. Now it's getting tighter. That feels good to me. I've not had an issue with any optics that I've installed. I'm probably jinxing myself here. Let me zoom back out, sorry. haven't had any issues with the optics I've installed, so you know, I'm doing something right. I also make sure of a lot, you know, I test everything. We have no movement. I haven't cranked them down yet. I'm just checking for nonsense. Feels good. So I think those are going to be the ticket. And there's always going to be, you know, you might have multiple options. It's not like there's only one screw that's going to work. But I will say I am pretty ignorant to the threading, like M3, 632, whatever that stuff means. I don't know if they just have multiple that work with each threading, or am I screwing it up when I don't know. I just kind of try to find the best fit, but I don't actually know what I need, like M3 or whatever. Now these all have Loctite on them already, but don't trust that because whatever they put on there, I feel like it's not oil tolerant and it's already hardened. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of trusting Loctite on things. I always add more and it can't hurt. So I put some around the bottom and I always use what to me feels like a little too much. I come from the knife world where you don't put a shit ton. You go easy on your pivot screws, but with red dots, 100%, I will put a decent amount on there. As you saw when I took that other one off. Keep getting these bubbles through here. I hate that. I mean, we had a lot of Loctite like caked up when we took it off, but that's fine, honestly. I'm okay with that. All right. Okay, these are both going in well. Should be good. So I usually just kind of ease them in, go back and forth so that I'm not putting, like I don't want to tighten this one down all the way, torque it, and then come over to this one and do that. Like I want to ease them both back and forth, and then tighten them down. Once they're tight, you know, then it's like, okay, I can crank on one and then crank on the other. Yeah, like they feel good. So I usually go to, what they usually recommend, I think, is 15 is usually what manufacturers recommend. I usually go to 20, 25, just because it seems to work for me, but you should do whatever you want. It says right here, 15 inch-pounds and secured with 242 Loctite. Again, I believe 242 Loctite is the same as Vibratite 122 or 121, what I use. But if you want to get the Loctite version, you can always do that. They say 15 inch-pounds, so you go ahead, do 15 inch-pounds. I'm going to do probably 25 is where we're going to end up. Let's see. Yep, right at 25. Feels comfortable to me. Just a little tip if you're new to this, you can use the slide as leverage. Kind of turns it into a T-handle, so it makes it real easy to tighten down. 25, just real simple. Is that too much torque? I don't know. I'm not going crazy. I'm not putting like 40 inch-pounds on it, but I do go 10 pounds higher than they tell you to. I think they do that, maybe thinking that a lot of people aren't going to use a torque wrench and they're just going to crank it down, and they want people to be a little careful. Or maybe they've tested the shit out of it and 15 inch-pounds holds, so why do more? You know, for me, it's like I just want to get it so it ain't coming off. Now, if you go too tight, though, you might strip something. Usually, you'll strip the screw, not the internal threading, which is good. Or you might tighten it so much that it doesn't cause an issue on the install, but then when you shoot it, it literally shears off the screw because it's like so tight, it's ready to snap, and then that, you know, crazy recoil, the violence of that just, you know, breaks it. That's why I don't go ham. I don't go to like 35 or whatever. I think some people do that. I usually try to just do 20 to 25 and call it there. So anyway, if you have one red dot from Osite or Cyelee, you now have a shit ton of extra screws to help you with optics, which is awesome. So I just keep all the screws. I don't care about organizing them by thread pitch or whatever. I can just get two that match. And if they work, they work. I just test the screw. You know, you don't have to know the specs. If you just test the screw, does it fit on there? Yes. Is it tight? Yes. Okay, cool. It's working. You know, like I'm OCD, but I'm not anal. All right, I'm gonna try to shut up. So now I'm just gonna put witness marks on here so that I know if it's gonna loosen. So I'm actually gonna do three things. I'm gonna take this silver paint marker and I'm going to, or pen, and I'm gonna put a line. Actually, I was gonna go this way, but that would kind of ruin the other. I'll show you here. All right, so I'm actually gonna put it here. Just putting a little line there. So if the screw moves, those will be misaligned. So I'm gonna do the same thing over here, like that. And then, because we have this screw here, I don't see why it would loosen, but I'm going to also put a little line for that. I might actually put it up here. Where should I put it? Nah, put it down here. I don't know where to put it. I might put it up here, like that. So now what I was gonna do, the easiest flat part would be right here. But then if it moved, I wouldn't know if this walked or the screw walked. So that's why I wanted to move it. So you will also know if it's loose, if it just is loose, like, you know. But I like to do the witness marks, gives you a heads up. Again, I've never had one walk. So whatever I'm doing is working. You know, clean everything out with alcohol, make sure it's nice and clean. Put the screws in, make sure they're the right length. You know, you want to have at least, you know, this much screw going into your slide so that you have, you know, 3 or 4 threads that are tightened down. And then use the right Loctite and torque it to the right spec, and you should be good to go. I'm noticing there's like a gap underneath, or is that oil? I don't know. Can you see that? I almost feel like I can see light under there. Let me see if I can get the angle there. See that? Right there? Is that? I think I'm just seeing something from under the Optic. I don't think it's a gap. But we shouldn't have an issue because it's perfectly flat. Turn it back on, show you. So they say it comes zeroed from factory, so you shouldn't have to make more than minor corrections. What I usually do if I feel like it's way off, this one looks really good, but I'll line up the iron sights because that's essentially your zero. I'll line up the iron sights and then look at the dot, and I'll just try to move the dot right on top of the front sight. So I'm not trying to put it behind the front post where it's hidden, because then what's the point? Then I'm just using the iron sights. But if you use the iron sights as a guide and zero it to that, like just lollipop it on top of the front sight, that usually gets you really close. When you get to the range, you should only have to do minor adjustments. That's why I do that. Just a guide. Pop that in. And pop this in. Like so. That in there. There we go. Slide this on. should be good to go. So there we go. Now we have the Chameleon installed, and we're ready to go to the range. So apologies for the long video, but that's how I roll. We have checked out the Cyelee Chameleon SRS8 with their Stig-RS system on it, and installed it so you guys could see how that process goes. We're going to see if we have any issues with how far forward this is, because sometimes with these overhang type optics, the brass can literally, you know, start hitting your dot, and it can actually cause malfunctions, or it can just smack into your dot, which you don't want, obviously. So I'm hoping we won't have an issue with that. I'm trying to take a look at the extractor, which is right here. We'll see. This is the ejector, I believe, right here. So we'll see where that's going to kick it. Hopefully it'll be clear and we'll be good to go, but something to think about. Yeah. All right. That's it, guys. If you want to pick one up, you can use the code LeftyEDC on their website. I can't endorse it yet because I have not used it. So, you know, purchase at your own risk, of course. Turn this off. I can endorse the ones I have reviewed, like the Wolf Pro SRS8. Obviously, I think that just the Wolf Pro line and the Cat Pro line, the LeftyEDC, fantastic optics, especially for the money. So hopefully this is no different, but we're going to find out. So I'll follow up as soon as I can. Let me know if you guys have any questions down in the comments. I love you. I appreciate you. And I hope you have a fantastic day. Peace.